Boys, I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and the premise of this is how do you create a farming plan around Lightspeed bundles? Now, I know all of us have probably had the feeling of gearing a character and then a Lightspeed bundle comes out for him and you're like, well, I just finished gearing that character. And there's some level of that I just think is unavoidable, but my goal has really been to avoid that as much as possible. And so I'm hoping this video will help guide you and give you some premises to apply to your roster, because I know everyone's just a little bit different. Maybe you got every single Lightspeed bundle. Maybe there was a couple that just didn't have the value for you. Maybe you've come to the game somewhat recently and only have been able to pick up the most recent few Lightspeed bundles. I'm hoping that I can give you some concepts that you can apply to any place you're at on that. So let's kind of walk through the Lightspeed bundles that we had very quickly. We had the Rey and the Resistance. We had SOKR in First Order. Veteran Smuggler Han came in a couple of different bundles. Finalizer bundle, Radis bundle, Starkiller and his requirements came in a bundle. Or not Starkiller himself, but the Starkiller requirements came in a bundle. Shadows of the Empire bundle came along and had all of these rebels in it. BAM bundle came along and had the Scoundrels. Gas bundle came along and had these Galactic Republic, along with the Padme bundle, which had these Separatists, and then the Padme bundle had only these Separatists. The Night Sister bundle came along and gave you all of these Night Sisters. We had the Geo bundle. We had the C-3PO bundle that gave us these Ewoks. We had the Junk Jedi bundle, as we've tokened it now, which gave us the Rey Jedi. We had the Cam bundle, which gave us just Cam. And then we had the Hoth bundle that just recently came out that gave us these 4 units. Okay. How do we farm around this? Because I know a lot of people that after this Shadows of the Empire bundle came out, they said, well, this is a lot of my Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke requirements done. They went and farmed these characters right here. I even did this a little bit. I went and farmed Wampa, so I kind of wasted getting Wampa. And now they feel like they wasted their time relicking these characters and they could have not or whatever. So here's the premise that I want to apply. There's a few things. The first is when you have legendaries that are required for something. So my examples here are Rey Jedi Training, BB-8, and Emperor Palpatine. These were required in addition to all the other requirements that we got to get Rey and to get SLKR. Rey and SLKR, if you got those bundles and you haven't unlocked those characters yet, I don't know what you're doing. You need to go unlock them. Like, this is the time to get those characters. So obviously, I feel like that's kind of obvious. Most people have already done this. They went and got Rey Jedi Training, they went and got BB-8, and they went and got Emperor Palpatine to Relic 7, so they could unlock Rey, they could unlock their SLKR. That was pretty simple and straightforward. What I've seen more of is people that are not gearing these 4 characters. Starkiller, General Skywalker, C-3PO, and Padme Amidala. If you got the Lightspeed bundles for one of these characters and you haven't reliced them yet, I would say that is your first priority. And I've seen a lot of people jump to this right here without finishing this. And the reason I think that's a mistake is, one, Starkiller is a GL killer. General Skywalker is a GL killer under certain circumstances. C-3PO and Padme Amidala, while not GL killers, get you through Proving Grounds events, which is extremely important for anyone that's kind of this mid-game stage where I'm at, and maybe getting some Lightspeed bundles here and there. These characters are extremely important for Proving Grounds, and I think it's extremely important to relic them. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go for 1 or 2 of these down here before you've done these. I'm just saying that I think these 4 characters, if you've gotten every single Lightspeed bundle, after Rey and SOKR, should be your priority. Now, General Skywalker is kind of the only, I'll put an asterisk here for, you might have some priorities over General Skywalker first, but Starkiller, C-3PO, Padme Amidala, for sure, I think should be relics on your account if you got those Lightspeed bundles. Don't just drop everything and relic them, finish whatever you're doing right now. Like, if you've already committed to something else, that's fine, but I'm just saying these are the top priorities. Then we go to what I'm calling the you're missing one. Rex, Zori, Grievous, Marin, Nisa. None of them came in bundles. All of them are going to make the bundles you did get much better. Now, if you went and got the Night Sister bundle, don't go get Nisa. Get Marin. If you, I'm saying, like, if you didn't get the Ewok bundle, you don't need to go get Nisa. If you didn't get the Night Sister bundle, you don't need to go get Marin. But if you got the Phoenix, or not the Phoenix bundle, the Shadows of the Empire bundle, you need to go get Captain Rex. If you got the Rey bundle, you need to go get Zori. If you got the Separatist bundle, either one of them, you need to go get Grievous. If you got the Night Sister bundle, you need to go get Marin. If you got the Ewok bundle, you should go get Princess Nisa. Princess Nisa's last on this because I think she's the least required, and you can see I'm the furthest behind with that. But she's one of the characters I'm shard farming currently, trying to get up for my Ewoks. My guild uses Nisa Omicron, so I'm going to work on getting that as well. But my priorities are Zori and Marin. As you can see, I've already got the Omicron on Zori. We're going to get her starred and relicked in the next few days, probably. I think I have some of the gear she needs. I probably need a bit more. But we're going to take her up to relics as our next relic. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to take the teams that I've got where I have 4 really good characters, and I'm just missing that 5th. So I'm trying to get all of those done before I start to move on to other things. And again, this is only because I'm missing 1 character for these factions. And the reason I say General Skywalker kind of has that caveat of like, well, maybe you get him, maybe you don't, is because of the fact that you're missing 3 characters really for him. You're missing Rex, you're missing Echo, and you're missing ARC Trooper relict. Now, if you already have them relict, or you went and relict them, then I think you prioritize General Skywalker much higher. For me, I went and relict Rex, Echo, and ARC Trooper because I really loved General Skywalker, and I really loved the 501st, and I really wanted them. And I wanted a little PP passion project to be able to do. And so, if that's you, like, that's totally fine. I'm not saying you have to follow this rigid and absolutely, but I'm just saying if you want to be the most optimal, I think if you have Rex, Echo, and ARC Trooper relict, or even if they're like 1 or 2 of them are relict, if you got 5 relict from a bundle, it's probably worth finishing out your General Skywalker. This team is just so solid that I think it's really important, especially if you're like me, like an Erodium, low Kyber. Like, I just think having a gas in your squad really helps you get some extra holes on defense, or some extra offensive power. So I really think gas is required-ish to go and get. Starkiller, I don't think you have an excuse for, going back to this. And C-3PO and Amidala. Padme, same thing. You have too many characters that can go with these that you should just go and get them. Your missing ones, again, if you got the faction, go get them. Then what I'm going to say is finish your farms. For me, I was working on Traya, Nihilus, Scion, Savage, and Talon. I got Talon from the bundles, but I still was working on the other 4. I had some of them done, some of them not. And so what I did is I went and worked on them while I've been starring up these characters. So Marin, we recently 7-starred. Zori, we are currently 7-starring. And the reason I didn't go for Marin first is because I'm Zeta poor. I had already invested the Zetas on this team, so I'm going ahead and finishing that farm, and then I'll pivot back to what I was working on. So these two can kind of be interchangeable as far as, do you finish your farms, do you go for another team? I've been using Zetas as my way to steer that. So I already had Zetas on Traya, Nihilus, Scion, Savage, so I went ahead and geared that team. I've been now able to invest my Zetas into my Zori and get that Omicron, so that way now I can invest in her and bring her up. I already had my Zetas on General Grievous, so I finished relicking him. I went and relicked and Zeta and Omicron Rex separately because Phoenix is so much better with him. And so as I'm getting the Zetas, I'm kind of letting that steer where I go. Any Zetas I had applied previously, before Lightspeed bundle started coming out, or before I started following this kind of premise, that's what I'm using as my, like, finish your farms. Zetas are a hot commodity right now, and so that's what I'm using to steer my priorities. If I have the Zetas on the team, it becomes so much better. My Night Sisters, as we saw over here, they do not have a lot of Zetas right now. And so I would love, 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 love to get Marin up and to get my Night Sisters going. I just don't have the Zetas to do it right now. So it's one of those that's like on the back burner, and as soon as I have the Zetas required, I'll go ahead and do it. Right now, my Zetas are going into my 501st to finish out the gearing that I did there. So I managed to get the gear done. Now I just need to have a couple of Zetas I need to finish out, and before I go for my next thing, which I'll talk about in a second. Next, I'm going to talk about, I don't think this is optimal, but I think this is, if you're like looking for something to gear, then as a Lightspeed bundle purchaser, then I think these are 2 really good options. If you haven't geared Thrawn yet, and if you haven't geared Bam yet, these are legendary characters. We already had the bundles for them. Then putting gear on them is not a waste. Bam is a requirement for Bo-Katan Mandalore. He's also a pilot for Executor. If you have your Executor, you should probably already have him relicked. And Thrawn is a requirement for C, as well as just a really great plug-in for Lord Vader or any Empire team, really. And so if you're looking around on your roster for things to gear, just look for legendaries. And the reason I say look for legendaries is because if you haven't geared legendary characters don't come in Lightspeed bundles. So if we look down here at like the Jedi Knight Luke requirements, Chewbacca is one of the requirements. You got the bounty hunters to unlock Chewbacca. If you haven't relicked your Chewbacca, relic your Chewbacca. Commander Luke Skywalker is another one. Legendary character. You got him through Shadows of the Empire. If you didn't already relic your Commander Luke Skywalker, relic your Commander Luke Skywalker. And the reason I'm putting these here is because these are the requirements for Jedi Knight Luke. With the Rolo, Han, Wampa, IPD bundle that we just got, if you got the other bundles, you have every requirement done except for Hoda for Jedi Knight Luke. And so I would say if you've kind of started working on these, maybe you've got a lot of these done, Jedi Knight Luke's your next big goal. And that's where I'm going next. I'm going to start working on finishing out Hoda after we finish Zori and putting him in with Jedi Knight Luke. And eventually that leading you down towards Jedi Master Luke. I'm not going to start focusing on the Jedi Master Luke requirements. So I'm not going to quite hard focus them. I mean, obviously, if we can get them, we can get them. But I'm not going to hard focus like Mon Mothma quite yet, because there is still the potential that she comes in a Lightspeed bundle. R2 is here. He's another good example of a legendary character that you probably have on your roster. You may or may not have him relicked, but you can go ahead and do that because you know he's a legendary character. He's not going to get a Lightspeed bundle. So, looking at this, if I take R2 up to Relic 7, and then a Mon Mothma Lightspeed bundle comes around with maybe Mon Mothma Hermiota or something, I know I can get that without having to worry about R2 being a wasted investment, because R2 is not going to get a Lightspeed bundle. So the last thing I have here is kind of like these couple of farms that you can finish if you started them or if you're passionate about them. For me, it was the 501st. Mon Mothma is another one that I think you could finish, especially if you want to go for Jedi Master Luke. And I don't think that's a bad path at all, but I'm just saying that if you want to like really be cautious about whether Lightspeed bundles are coming that are going to interfere with what you're doing, Mon Mothma is one of those ones that you can hold off on for now and wait to see what happens. So let me kind of recap here what the general premise is. First is any legendaries, or especially Galactic Legends, that you unlock through Lightspeed bundles, gear those. Get them. Use them on your roster. Invest the Zetas, invest the Omicrons you need. Get them going. Galactic Legends first, then legendaries based on how good they are. And so that's why I say Starkiller, Gas, C-3PO, and Padme are the priorities. Thrawn, Bam, even add R2 here. Chewbacca, you could add here. While all those characters are good, they're not as good, I think, as these ones. So I think you prioritize these. Now, this is also very roster dependent. If you have your, let's say, CLS relict, your Han relict, and you're now you've gotten you have Chewpio relict, and you got C-3PO and Chewbacca not, well, let's finish out that team, and you relic the legendaries you got from Lightspeed bundles. So, or if you didn't get the Separatist bundles at all, then you don't need to worry about General Grievous. If you didn't get the Night Sister bundles, you don't need to worry about Marin. But the idea is legendaries first, finish them. Galactic Legends take priority. Then work on these characters that maybe you're just missing one to make a really great team. And while you're working on this, also work on finishing your farms. So we kind of are doing those two things at the same time. And if you finish that, where you've got these 5 characters and any other like +1s that you feel like you really want to pull into a team to make really good, once you finish those farms, then you can go to just these random legendaries sitting on your account. Those are what you can start working on if you don't want to waste time on Lightspeed bundle, waste time on characters that are going to get a Lightspeed bundle. Finally, after that, you can start making progress towards the thing you're closest to. And that's going to be like Jedi Knight Luke for anyone that's gotten like every bundle, maybe, and then into Jedi Master Luke. I don't think we're going to get a Jedi Master Luke bundle. I have another video coming out later this week about predictions for the next Lightspeed bundles. But if we do, and you follow this path, you'll either, one, finish it before the bundle comes, or you'll be in the process of kind of these legendary characters, and then the bundle will come and you'll be like, oh, well, I didn't waste any time. I got my Hoda and my Mon Mothma in a free bundle. So one last thing I'm going to mention that is technically efficient and I don't have the patience for. But if you do, I think it's technically the most efficient way to do it. If you use external sites like Hot Utils or swogo.gg to look at the gear required for characters, specifically in Hot Utils, it's like the SE gear, Swogo Events gear, and you hoard the gear, hoard the relic mats to unlock and gear a GL like Jedi Master Luke, and then wait until you have every single thing you're going to need. You wait till you have all of the stuff to take Jedi Knight Luke to Relic 7, all of the stuff you need to take R2 to Relic 7 for this whole thing, right? And then you wait until it's all ready and you can get Jedi Master Luke up. I think that's technically more efficient because you're giving yourself the maximum amount of time to wait for the Lightspeed bundle to show up. Then you're applying everything all at once. The reason I don't love that is because, one, you're missing out on any progress you could be making week to week. For example, while you don't have Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke under a Jedi Knight Revan or even under their own lead can be really good. And so you're missing out on that by not having him. Same thing with like Mon Mothma. If you have all the stuff ready for her, but you're not applying it, well, you have, if you've gotten all the Lightspeed bundles, Cara Dune, Wedge, Biggs, Kyle Katarn, you can make a really solid Mon Mothma team, and you're just leaving that on the table because you're hesitant about Lightspeed bundles. So I'm all for being hesitant, but I don't think we need to take it to the extremes of like hoarding our gear and waiting for things. Now, if you're about to unlock a Galactic Legend, you should hoard the gear so you can gear them right away. But that's kind of my approach to Lightspeed bundles. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I think other people have very varying opinions on it, and I'm totally not going to sit here and say like, oh, my way is the best way, and obviously this is the most efficient. But this is what I'm following. This is literally what I'm trying to do on my roster. And granted, I have ADD farming where I can't focus on one thing for very long, and so I end up with all these teams that are half finished. But I've been working on cleaning that up. I've been working on trying to get better at that, and I think that this framework can be applied really well to anybody purchasing Lightspeed bundles. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. As always, love you guys, and if you want to know more about my channel and about the free-to-play guild that we run, free-to-play farming plans, all of that, we're looking for more people for our free-to-play guild. I made a video on that yesterday, so card in the top right if you want to learn more about that. Anyways, love you guys. Take care and peace.